if we as an industry believe we are committed to training and developing people, and we have the skills and we have the tools, which there's an abundance of if people want to, then it's very simple to train somebody into what it is you want them to do for you and with you as they work within your property to deliver that expectation that the guest has who walks in your front door. But yet we all seem to, when it comes down to the crunch, want the person to already have those skills in place before we hire them. An interesting conversation I had recently with a first-time GM for a new luxury property coming back into the market in Ireland, and we're discussing a role he's looking to get filled, and I put a candidate on his table who's coming out of a similar enough role in a similar enough style property, but the candidate who's coming out of the role is missing one requirement that the new client is looking for, and he wants the new person to be able to understand and be able to set their own budgets and to be able to do their own forecasting. Unfortunately, the candidate coming out of property A never had to deal with forecasting or budgeting because property A is run by a corporate, and corporate gives them their forecasting and budgeting. It's their responsibility to execute. Candidate or client B in the new property doesn't want to hire in the candidate because he doesn't have the time to train them how to do a budget and a forecast. So the person who's got the right fit, the right attitude, the right passion, the right look, who comes to your property, you meet, you hit it off, you think, yes, they're everything I need, but they're missing one little piece of the pie, as in they don't know how to create the budget and the forecast for their department, but it's something you can easily teach them and educate them on, doesn't get an opportunity to take that career step and come and work with you in your property and ultimately be able to deliver the guest expectations and to train and develop a team and let you train them into how to deliver budgeting and forecasting. But yet we've created this pandemic within the industry, or this void in the industry of a whole middle tier of management who aren't trained the way we were trained 20 years ago, who aren't taught how to do forecasts, budgets. They're not taught how to read P&Ls. They don't understand how to set out rosters and keep them in line with their percentages or with their budgets for the month. But nobody's willing to train them either. So we have a constant back and forth to where I want a food and beverage manager, but the food and beverage, assistant food and beverage managers in the industry haven't been trained how to do budgets or forecasting. But I want somebody who knows how to do forecasting and budgeting, but nobody's training them how to do forecasting or budgeting. So I can't hire them because they need to know how to do forecasting and budgeting. So ultimately, I'm not going to get the person I want, but I'm not willing to train them how to do it either. And because I'm not willing to train them how to do it, they eventually will get hired by somebody as a food and beverage manager. And when they take their next step to being an operations manager, they still won't understand how to do forecasting and budgeting because nobody will train them how to do forecasting and budgeting. And then we get to a stage that we're in today, to where we have people within this industry that are in junior, mid and senior roles who don't understand how to do the fundamentals of their role because they've never been trained into it. And because we have now all of these big, successful hospitality management companies who have a flashy head office somewhere who send out a directive of this is what we want you to do from now on to the people who just follow out the orders without questioning why or understanding how, but they also then ultimately never get trained into how to create it and put it together in the first place. So we now have a hospitality industry to where we don't put the value into understanding that if we don't train and develop our people across all levels, ultimately as they move through the ranks and become our senior managers, they don't know how to train and develop people.